Howdy, hey, hello, it's McKenna, and this is Munch and Mingle. Get cozy, y'all, because today we are talking all things Christmas traditions, and I am giddy. I just went through the whole prep for this, and I'm giddy. I love traditions, and I think that's because I loved the traditions I had growing up. So we're going to talk about it. However, I want to address the situation. You know me. You know the research bone in my body had to dissect this and figure out why do we do this? And I also realize that sometimes it can actually be a drag on some people. It's almost too much. So let's talk about it. Does anyone else feel like Christmas, though, is basically here? I am in a constant blur of candy canes, Christmas sprinkles, and somewhere in the background, Andy Williams' It's the Most Wonderful Time of the Year is just playing on repeat. Magical? Yes. But also sometimes it gets to the point where I'm just like, who assigned me to be in charge of everyone's core memories? Why do we do these traditions? The cookies, the pajamas, the whole thing. Why? Well, as I kind of deep dived into it, honestly, traditions are known as the backbone of a family. And more importantly, traditions are the things that our kids are going to remember out of everything else. When everything else becomes blurry as we get older, we can remember these little things, these traditions, these memories, aka exactly me, how I'm feeling as I went through it. But traditions tell our kids, this is who we are, and this is what we do, and better yet, you belong here. Oh, I don't know why I'm getting all emotional, because now I'm thinking, like, again, it's so interesting when it's you're the kid, but then you have the kids too. And that's not just, you don't just have to have kids to make memories, but we all have to agree it does make it a little bit more magical when you've got these little ones and you're just seeing the anticipation and the excitement in their eyes. Oh, but when our kids know what's coming, the cookies we bake every year, the matching pajamas, the Christmas Eve walk, yeah, we're going to talk about that because I might be doing that this year. The way we all pile onto the couch for the same movie every single year. They feel safe and they feel grounded, especially in a world that changes so fast. Traditions are the things that don't. I got this little blurb that it was saying traditions are the stories that the kids or the family will carry with them. The inside jokes. It keeps talking about cookies and pajamas. Apparently that's just how we do Christmas, is that this is the emotional glue to a family. And I mean, we can just talk about traditions in general, but then comes Christmas traditions, y'all. A whole month of anticipation. Do you see how I can say that word now? Go back a few episodes, you'll know what I'm talking about. But can we also realize that no other holiday expects you to wait this long? But the traditions are what makes the waiting magical. We are building the memories that stick. Now, we already talked about our Advent calendar and some things that we are doing this whole month. And there are still so many other things that we could do. When I was looking up all these traditions, it talked about so many things that you could add during your month. But today I want to solely focus on just Christmas Eve and Christmas Day traditions, both for families with kids or without, couples or singles, whoever's listening. I have talked to some people and asked them what they do on the 24th and 25th and are going to add that into this. But I just hope, above all, it sparks some ideas we've talked about this so many times this month, especially during the 12 days, to make this such a great month because it's the end of the year also. And again, there's a reason for this season. Like, so much is happening, which can feel overwhelming. So please know, I don't want you to go above and beyond what it is, but just something that's going to celebrate the year that you've had and also celebrate going into the new year. And that's why December is it's such a great month. It really is. Before we get into some other traditions, I asked ChatGPT, and like I said, I talked to some other people. Let's start with what I've done in my life growing up and what's just made me so happy, because why not? And I've come to now realize, like, our Christmas Eve tradition, I thought everyone did it. Apparently not, but I love it. And it's actually going to play a role in our family this year. So when I was growing up, my mom made Christmas Eve the biggest deal ever. I have this memory of sitting in our, oh my gosh, it was like a 2-bedroom tiny house in West Point, Utah. And I was in the kitchen and I parked a chair, kitchen table chair, right in front of the door that would lead outside to like the carport. And we had a screen door too. So I opened the door and I had the screen door still shut. And I'm just sitting there on my chair watching, because I could see the main road from our house, and I was watching and waiting for my mom to get home from work on Christmas Eve, because I knew what was coming. Like that, the anticipation for this moment in my life, maybe that's why I love anticipation on these days, because it was built into me. Anyway, so my mom has German background, and her mom was doing what her mom from actual Berlin would do. Christmas Eve, and I checked this with our sweet, sweet neighbor down 2-3 doors down, who's also from Berlin. Christmas Eve is as big a celebration as Christmas Day. And that's what I thought. I thought that was for everyone. I just thought it was a 2-day party. So on Christmas Eve, what in our family, what they would do, we as the kids would just be sent off into someone's room, and we would have to sing Christmas carols while the Christmas magic was happening out in the living room. My mom would always say, the louder you sing, the more Christmas magic will come. So she would be getting all the lights set. Christmas music was on. Christmas candles are lit, and would be making what is called I call it Buttentella, but our neighbor just said it's a Butentella, which is basically a German word for a plate of treats. My mom would get those little tins from like Dollar Tree. She'd write our names on it, and inside they would have oranges, pistachios, Christmas cookies, chocolates, the whole shebang. And she would set them on the couch for like to give us each a spot. Please realize the anticipation that was building in that room, wherever we were, where we're singing, was unreal. As a child, because we knew right on the other side of that door, as soon as she called us out, there would be treats and there would be a slew of opening gifts. Yes, we would open all of our gifts. So as a kid, I am busting at the seams, trying to sing Frosty the Snowman as loud as I can, but I'm giddy. I hope you can feel it. Like, the amount of energy I have right now as I'm telling this to you, that was me as a child. Just so excited. So she'd call us out, and I need to see if I can find this picture. I'm going to have to call my mom. There's a picture of me I'm like in 6th grade, and I'm running out of the room in front of all my sisters in my new Bambi pajamas. And my face is just lit with so much excitement. Oh, I need to go find that. So you find your place, and one by one, y'all, we would go through each gift. So usually youngest to oldest, but then my mom took it one step further. Each gift has a hint written on the outside. And as we got older, we got really good at guessing our hints, which I'll tell you a story about here in a second. So she wouldn't put our names on the gifts. And she actually took this out of her stepmom's book. What they would do back in the day when she was growing up is you'd pick a Christmas theme or something, and you would give everyone a different name or a code name based off of whatever that theme is. And then they would find out when they were opening presents what their name was. So one year I remember my mom did Christmas movies. And so when we were sitting down at Christmas Eve, this is when she would tell you what your Christmas movie was. Then she'd ring a bell, which I'm pretty sure that is also German, and she would then read the person's hint aloud. So everyone's hearing it. Everyone's like, oh, okay, I know what this person asked for, or they're trying to think. And then you would let them open. Y'all, this process, even with just like the three of us girls, like me and the siblings, was so long, especially as we got older and started getting married. You know, you're including significant others. But I kid you not, I love it. I loved it then. I love it now. I love the prolonging because, again, you've built so much up to this moment and you get to just marinate and sit in it. And I love it. And I don't know. I know there are other families who don't like. Sometimes it can just be like everyone's opening at the same time. That is not my jam. I want to experience the moment with everyone as they're opening it. And that's probably is because that's how I've just done it my whole life. You get to be a part of someone opening their gift. And it can feel a little daunting having that much attention on you. But again, we all got so used to it. So here's the funny story. And truly, I think this is why my mom started changing our names to like code names to be with themes. So this was back in that West Point house. This was when I was sitting in front of that screen door in the kitchen. I had asked at the time for a Black Eyed Pea CD. And I was looking over the gifts under the tree and I found one of mine. And this had to have been probably about like a good week or so before actually Christmas Eve. But I had found one of mine that was from my grandma. And I was reading the hint and I was like thinking about it. And it's so funny, even as a kid, like, I guess you just ask for so many things. You're just trying to think. And my mom, y'all, she is so good at writing hints. Like she will pick the most random thing and go with that. And then she'll be able to tie it back. So you're completely like, I have no idea. So I had read over all the hints that I had seen on my gifts. And this must have been the first time I ever had like a deep thought while I was in the shower. Because I remember as a kid thinking over those hints and I'm taking a shower and I realize, oh, one of the hints, I'm like, that's the Black Eyed Pea CD. I know it. It had to have been like there was a nod or a mention to a vegetable. And then it hit me. I was like, oh my gosh. So I went to go and tell my mom because it was the gift for my grandma. I figured like, mom, I know what Grandma Margot's getting me. So when I told her, she looked at me like so somberly and almost like sad on my behalf. And she goes, McKenna, that's not it. You know, your grandma still thinks you are a little girl. So she didn't get you a Black Eyed Pea CD. She got you a VeggieTales CD. I was so crushed. I mean, I was in 5th grade at this point. So to hear I'm getting like VeggieTales when I wanted a Black Eyed Pea CD, I was crushed. And it totally was on par because my grandma Margot always like thought of us as little kids still. So we get to Christmas Eve and it was my turn to open that gift. And my mom reads the hint. And as she's handing it to me, y'all, daggers are coming from her, like shooting daggers from her eyes. Because she had said, you better make sure that you still act like you are grateful to your grandma for getting you this. Even though, of course, I didn't really want it. She's like, you're going to do this. I opened it up. And what do you know? It was the Black Eyed Pea CD. I was screaming. My mom is like falling off the couch laughing because she had just come up with that, y'all. In the second that I told her I knew what it was, she randomly came up with this thought off the top of her head, like, what could I use? And go, oh, it's VeggieTales, which is hilarious because we never even listened to VeggieTales growing up, but I still knew what it was. My grandma had no idea. I still don't know if she even knew to this day. I mean, bless her heart, rest in peace. She is watching over us. Maybe she knows now. But that, again, one of those core memories, my mom and I still laugh about it today. And I know it's going to come up as like probably with one of my kids, but that's why it was genius. Why my mom was like, we're going to start doing like code names so that you guys can't even put 2 and 2 together. So after all this, the next Christmas morning, we would then have Santa gifts to open. But honestly, this whole tradition worked out amazingly when my parents got divorced. Probably the one good thing that comes from divorce, as any kid would say, you do get 2 Christmases. So we would do Christmas Eve with my mom, and then the next morning we'd have like a Santa gift, but then we would go to my dad's and do a whole Christmas again. So that's probably why I love Christmas. I am very materialistic and I just got a bunch of things. No, not really. It was so many things building up to that. But this year I have felt the nostalgia from the Christmas Eve buildup come back, and I've been talking to Britt about it, and he thank heavens, loves the idea. And so I was like, we need to do this. Like now we're actually at a point that our kids are understanding the greatness that is the buildup. And so here's how we're at least going to try it out this year. So for Christmas Eve, we're not going to any families' houses. So we'll just be here, but we are going to do our own little Christmas Eve night where I'm going to have butentella for the boys. I've actually got the little containers right here that I got from Dollar Tree. I'll probably make a little bit more kid-friendly treats that they love, but just something that's like, oh my gosh, they never get to have this. And then we'll have that, and then we will open all their gifts. Now the gifts that we're going to open, because again, I don't want to take away from Christmas. Like I still want there to be gifts, but we'll open all the gifts from mom and dad on Christmas Eve. And then as they get older, we can do sibling gifts too. But then on Christmas morning, that's when they will have their Santa gift. They will have their stockings, which, P.S., can we talk about stockings? That I think is one of my top tier favorite things about Christmas. I love stockings. So they'll have that. And then we'll also have the gifts from their grandparents, great grandparents. Later in the day, we'll be going to Britain's parents' house. So they'll do that one. But like my mom, my dad, our great grandparents, any other gifts that have come to them from other family members, we'll do it that morning too. So there'll still be a good amount. There will be no shortage of that. But that's just a little bit. I'll have to report back and let you know how it worked out. But now we're going to talk about some other people's traditions. So Britt's family, a big thing that they did on Christmas morning, and they still do to this day, every kid gets their own box of cereal. So they get to choose it beforehand. And then when they come out Christmas morning, their box of cereal would be right there by all their gifts. And then that's what they would have for breakfast, which really smart, actually. The more I think about it, I'm like, you don't have to worry about breakfast. And the kids are excited because they get their own like box of cereal. So that's a great idea. Britt's family still does that today. So they will take care of that. But that's so smart. Our brother-in-law, Taylor, his family actually did the cereal thing too. But also back in the day, I don't know, obviously they probably don't do this now, but they would get a new DVD. Each kid would get their own DVD. And then during the day on Christmas, they would choose one of the DVDs someone got, and then they would watch it together as a family. Love that. I'm trying to think. I know my stepmom's family, Christmas Eve was also a big deal. In her family, you would all go over to grandma's house on Christmas Eve, and they would do a giant like cousin exchange for the kids. So everyone would pick out a name, and you'd get that one cousin or whatnot, their gift. And that's when you would exchange the gifts. And then all the adults would also do the same for like each other, the siblings and their significant others. But then it would just be a big minute to win it night of games and everything. One of my best friends, Carolyn, she's been on the pod, y'all. The 30, what did we call it? 30 tips in 30 years. It was back in August last year. Great episode. In her house, the stairs from upstairs would come down into their kitchen, and there would be a doorway out of the kitchen where the Christmas tree and presents were. So her parents would put up a sheet in the doorway so no one could see into the family room. And then her family would make them all eat breakfast together in the kitchen before going into the living room. Once again, just building the anticipation. Speaking of that, Britt's dad, I know I don't know how long they did this or if it became a tradition, but apparently, because all the kids know about it or talk about it, before all the kids would come downstairs, he would make them stop and sit on the stairs, and he would take a picture of them all, but he would drown it out on purpose just to mess with the kids wanting to come downstairs. And honestly, I think it is totally acceptable as parents to draw out this moment, especially when so much work has been put into it. We want to like build it. So I think that's a right as a parent. Okay, now let's talk about what ChatGPT found as some cool traditions to do. And this is where I'm like, get cozy, y'all, because there's a lot and there's so many good ones. So first off is for the parents or couples. This is a couples only Christmas wish exchange. So each spouse or significant other partner writes 3 things they need more of. Example, I need more sleep in mornings. I need to go on solo walks. I need date nights. And then they trade lists, which, hi, sweetie, I know you're listening. This one sounds so much fun. And it also takes off the pressure of like, what am I going to buy my significant other when it's like, oh, wait, it's our money anyway. So I could just, so I love this, that it's like an actual like trade or gifting service and help to one another. I think that's so cute. Okay, next one is a Christmas morning time capsule ornament. So each kid gets a plain ornament and then they write or draw a memory of that year. And then you add it in to the ornament, or I've seen those ornaments where you can like add the papers in, or you can draw it on the ornament. But then you watch the tree turn into a scrapbook. Oh, I love that one. Friend miss stocking swap. Everyone sets a budget, $15 to $20. You draw a name and then you fill a stocking just for that one friend or one person. Love this one, especially for the adults. I think that one's so much fun because, again, I just love stockings. And I think it is because it's like multiple gifts in one. I'm telling you, my love language, sadly, is gifts. But I've learned it is not materialistic. I always thought it was so shallow to have that. I'm like, no. It's because it's the thoughts. It's the thought that goes into it that makes me love it. So anyway, it's still magical like kids. It's just more curated. There we go. The annual ridiculous photo. Pick a funny theme each year. Reindeer chic, Christmas pajama catwalk, Santa's exhausted elves. And I guess you just take the photo from whatever that theme is. Guaranteed laughter and a tradition people will anticipate. Love that. That's one's like good for like adults too and big families. Okay. The Christmas Day intermission. I legit think we're going to make this one happen. So it's midday on Christmas. Everyone stops. Yes, even if you have guests, for a 20-minute walk. A little gratitude moment. You can talk about things we're grateful for, but just a walk to regulate the overstimulation and kind of just anchor your presence. I love this. I love this. I mean, we do this in our own family with the boys, that they have a quiet time each day to kind of just set aside, to kind of just have a moment to decompress and come back to. So why not on the biggest day of the year where so much has gone into this day, have an intermission? Oh, I love that. Another one is Christmas Eve heroes. So cute. So you create a full hero roster, even with badges. So definitely for the kids. You can have a sparkle sprinkler, aka you're throwing reindeer food outside. Love that. The cookie plate presenter. The night watch captain, staying up 10 minutes later to protect the house, double check Santa's all good to go. The peppermint picker hides candy canes for a morning hunt. So basically, I mean, there's so many other things you could do. But you're giving roles to the kids that are specific and you can like rotate them throughout the year. I might have to expand deeper into that one because that one sounds way fun. The Christmas talent show. After dinner, either on Christmas Eve or Christmas, you obviously just have a talent show. Someone does a dance, a magic trick, telling a joke, a sibling duet. Oh, I love that. Kids get to shine and memories are hilarious later. The Christmas Eve breakfast feast, which from what we've talked about, this is what Britton and I are doing. So instead of a fancy dinner, you make breakfast the star. Which honestly, that's really good because there's so much going on Christmas morning that's really hard to get like a set breakfast down. But then even in our case, we're going to have so much going on in dinner. It makes sense to start it off at the beginning with a bigger thing. So last year we went to the Pancake House and like the original Pancake House, y'all, not IHOP. No, the original Pancake House. It is one of our favorite places. And so we checked, they're open until like noon on Christmas Eve. So I think that's how we're going to start is we're going to take the boys out. We don't get to do that a lot. And so we get to go do it at the breakfast place. But I love that idea. And then as far as Christmas Eve, going back to my mom and stepdad, I remember one night, like one Christmas Eve, we did KFC, just brought it in the house. And the other time we did not sliders, but yeah, like you just bought the Hawaiian rolls, you bought all the deli meat and cheese, and you just made your own sliders. Why is it that we feel like we have to have these huge, extravagant feasts on top of like these huge, extravagant moments? Maybe as the kids get older, it might be easier, but at least while they're littler, it's really hard for me to be like, why are we putting so much effort into the food when we're about to go do this big thing? It's just causing me more stress. So at least while they're younger, I'm definitely probably going to lean towards like the easier meals, which we talked about doing mini pizzas for dinner, just like the at-home bakes, because that one's so simple for us and the boys love pizza. So that's another idea. Sorry, that was like 2 ideas in one. Santa's training day. Play mini games like the elves are training them to help Santa, such as a gift wrap race, stuffed animals, not real presents that we're wrapping, a chimney crawl, which is a blanket fort tunnel, and a reindeer dash. Outside races, kids get energy out early. Okay, love this actually. This one would be so much fun. And again, since I know Britain's listening, sweetheart, we could like, you could incorporate your fireman training into these. Oh, that would be so much fun, especially as the boys get older. I know like they would love to have this type of training day. The reindeer on the roof countdown. Have a jar of 10 bells. Whoa, close. Have a jar of 12 bells. Each hour, remove one and ring it saying, Santa's reindeer are getting closer. Adds magic and structure to the day. Christmas Eve game duel. Choose a quick game like Mario Kart, Speed Scrabble, or cards. And loser wraps the last present. Light, fun, competitive energy. The first thing in the morning plan. Oh, this is fun. So before bed, this can either just be with your significant other or with your kids, but you give each other one surprise clue about the first thing you're going to be doing Christmas morning. Something like, oh, it involves chocolate or involves candy canes, or you're going to need your slippers. Building anticipation again. The family bake-off. Each person designs one cookie for Santa, which I think, yeah, we did this last year. We'll be doing this. So instead of just making a normal slew of cookies, each person makes a sugar cookie, and then that goes on the tray for Santa. So much fun. The Christmas Eve dress code kind of reminds me of that annual photo thing, but you pick a theme each year. This one says Reindeer Rebellion, Elves on Vacation, Fancy and Funny. So that's just what everyone has to wear coming into Christmas Eve. If you don't want to do pajamas, you just kind of use what you have already. See, these are going to be the fun ones as like time goes on and everyone gets older and kind of gets to flex that creative muscle. And then to finish it off, the Silent Night Minute. Right before bed, turn off all lights except the tree and just spend 1 minute of quiet time together. I mean, knowing me, I'll have Christmas music in the background. That could be a great way to end your Christmas night, because as we know, there's just that drop that comes after Christmas, but maybe just to seal it off, have a moment. You can even like talk about what you've loved doing in the past month or even just the last 2 days. But so good for overstimulated littles. Wow. Okay. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling it. I'm feeling all the anticipation of a kid again. And I love it. I love tradition so much because it does. It binds you with the past. It binds you with your loved ones. It's all the good things. Please let me know what some of your traditions are. Seriously, tell me. I love hearing about them. I love listening to them no matter what they are. I love it. Don't forget, you can text me at the little link at the beginning of the description box where it says text me here. That just goes in. It's anonymous, so don't worry. Everything's secure. You're safe. But I want to hear it. Or you can even email me at munchandminglepodcast@gmail.com. Okay. Have a great day. And we'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.